Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. "18 people lost their lives in a mass shooting that took place in Lewiston, Maine."
This is the CBS News Special Report. I'm Jared Hill in New York. There's breaking news out of Lewiston, Maine, about 40 minutes north of Portland. Police are searching for a mass shooter who reportedly opened fire at least 2 different locations, including a bar and grill and a bowling alley. Multiple law enforcement sources tell CBS News that at least 16 people and perhaps more than 20 have been killed, dozens more injured. The sheriff's office released these photos of the suspect, who appears to be holding an AR-style assault rifle. President Biden has been briefed, and the FBI is in contact with state and local police. Our coverage will continue on your local news, CBS News streaming, and on CBS Mornings. This has been a CBS News Special Report. I'm Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Now, in this alleged incident that took place in Lewiston, Maine, 40-year-old Robert Card allegedly participated in a mass shooting at 2 locations that led to the deaths of 18 people. Now, according to reports, 40-year-old Robert Card started his carnage at the Spare Time Recreation Bowling Alley at 6:56 p.m. when he entered this facility with a AR-15 style rifle and began shooting at people who were at the bowling alley as they were having a children's tournament. And as he was participating in this mass shooting, taking the lives of 8 people at that location, 1 woman and 7 men, he wound up making a whole lot of carnage, taking the lives of those 8 people and wounding several others. And after participating in that mass shooting at that location, Robert Card then allegedly got in his Subaru vehicle, and as he got into his Subaru vehicle and drove 4 miles to Shemege's Bar and Grill, he then took out his AR-15 style rifle once more and participated in another mass shooting that led to the deaths of 7 men in the restaurant and 1 outside, and several more people wound up losing their lives after being taken to the hospital, and as a result, 18 people wound up losing their lives and multiple people wound up becoming injured. Now, the Lewiston, Maine police and many other organizations like the FBI are seeing this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the alleged behavior of Robert Card, it fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me, after reading multiple reports and doing research from multiple videos, that Robert Card is a textbook beta male, like I talk about in The Man Crisis, and he possibly was a ticking time bomb that was eventually going to explode at any time. And sadly, because most people took his whiteness for granted, they couldn't see how dangerous this individual was. Now, Robert Card was a member of the U.S. military reserves and had military training in firearms, and it was that training that led to him becoming a clear and present danger, and it was the kind of danger that people took for granted, mainly because he was a white male, and took him for granted because they never really took him that seriously. However, Robert Card's behavior, from what I've seen, shows that he was a clear and present danger for an extended period of time. Now, when it comes to beta males, a lot of times people can't really identify the indicators that show you're dealing with a man who is a man in crisis or a ticking time bomb. But when I read about Robert Card's background, it's clear to me that he possibly was one of these beta males who was a clear and present danger because, according to his alleged social media, he had been talking about conspiracy theories such as the 2020 election, and some people in an NBC News report said that he was on his compound a far-right individual, and these are things that show me the pattern of compulsiveness as related to beta males, because a lot of times beta males will buy into things like conspiracy theories, and even worse, what they'll do is create echo chambers around themselves where they don't go out here and process information objectively. And because these individuals, again, are out here and they live in echo chambers and don't process information objectively, what it happens is that these individuals focus on their feelings regarding information, and this could be the thing that leads to these individuals winding up being a danger to people that they don't really notice. Now, according to several reports, Robert Card had several things that happened to his life that basically exacerbated his issues, and these things basically were the things that led to people to speculate that he had mental health issues. But when I took a look at his background as related to his life, the things that I believe led to him being motivated to participate in these murders didn't have anything to do with mental health, I believe, but it was about his frustration about his state of life as related to his job and as related to his relationships. Now, with Robert Card, he had recently lost a job at a recycling plant that he had, and losing a job for a beta male is one of the worst things that can happen, because these men do not know how to navigate through their emotions, and because they don't know how to navigate through their emotions and process their feelings, what these individuals do is go out here and seethe and simmer and boil in anger regarding a situation like losing a job, and as they seethe in anger about losing that job, they wind up starting to light a fuse to a fire that eventually winds up leading to them exploding in rage. Moreover, when Robert Card's sister also speculates that Robert Card was looking for an ex-girlfriend, and when it comes to beta males and relationships, this is like gasoline and fire. Many beta males, whenever a relationship doesn't work, many times these individuals wind up dwelling on the failure of that relationship, and because these males are very social and want to have social success and want to have their world smooth, what happens is these men want to destroy the world around them when their relationships don't work. So I'm speculating that Robert Card possibly was triggered by the job loss and the loss of a girlfriend, and as he saw his life falling apart and his world that was smooth becoming rough due to the problems of losing a job and a girlfriend, this basically started the erratic behavior that Robert Card participated in when he was called up for military service. Because I believe what happened with Robert Card was, as he was dealing with this job loss and the loss of a girlfriend, he went to the West Point military to go out here and do work as related to oil, not as related to any sort of gun training like was speculated in reports. It's been substantiated that Robert Card never did any sort of gun instruction. No, what was reported was he was basically dealing with petroleum as related to possibly being an oil truck driver or a gas truck driver. So Robert Card, I believe, as he was on the base, was extremely frustrated about the state of his life, losing a job, losing a girlfriend, and was really frustrated to the point because his smooth world had been made rough. And as his smooth world had been made rough, he also had to deal with a deployment to West Point, which basically further disrupted his smooth world, And as he had to deal with this deployment, he started to participate in erratic behavior, really becoming frustrated about being forced to submit to male authority and male authority figures. And as he was being forced to submit to male authority figures in the military, this is what led to him participating in that alleged erratic behavior that many saw as mentally ill. And people possibly saw his behavior as being so erratic that they thought it was mental illness, to the point where the U.S. military wanted to put Robert Card into a hold for 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, I believe that mental health professionals looked at his behavior and realized that he did not have mental health issues, and basically run out here and released him because they thought he didn't have mental health issues. But what I believe happened with Robert Card was he basically was one of these beta males who basically was, again, in his feelings about the state of his life, and that made it mimic the behavior of mental illness, because a lot of times with beta males, their behavior will mimic the erratic behavior of mental illness. However, when I take a critical look at Robert Card's actions, they don't really fit that pattern of mental illness and erraticness that I've seen from those who are mentally ill. Now, Robert Card's actions really show me the behavior of an individual who wasn't, I believe, and I say I believe, mentally ill, because his actions as related to his pattern of behavior do not fit the logic of a mentally ill individual, I believe, because his actions, again, just do not have, they're just too logical. Now, when I look at Robert Card's alleged actions as related to his episodes at the U.S. military base, where he made the threat of looking to shoot up the base, that really shows me the start of his behavior not being erratic, because he made the threat to shoot up a military base and shoot up this base. So anybody would understand that, okay, if you go on a military base, you're not going to want to shoot that place up, because one, those bases are secured at the checkpoint at the front, and there are armed individuals all throughout the base who can shoot back at you. So when I look at Robert Card's threat, it's the kind of threat beta males often make when they get emotional about their frustration, and what they do is say something emotional that will appear to, again, be showing mental illness on the outside, but these guys know what they're doing, and that was shown to me by Robert Card's actions as related to choosing these 2 locations. Now, Robert Card, he didn't want to, again, shoot up the military base because he knew that there would be individuals to fight back, but he chose both of these locations, the bowling alley and the bar and grill, because he knew that these individuals would not be capable of fighting back. And that's what beta males do oftentimes with these mass shootings. They will choose a venue where they know, 1, it's a soft target, 2, they know that the individuals cannot fight back, and they do this because they want to take the largest, a maximum amount of lives, and do the most maximum damage to people, because these individuals basically believe that their whole world was destroyed, and because they believe that their world was destroyed, what they want to do is destroy the most possible lives in one incident. And these individuals basically know that this is their last shot at anything, and their last opportunity to go out here and make people suffer. So what they want to do is make as many people as miserable as possible in their one last blaze of glory, and they want to do this to try to get the most attention for themselves as related to infamy, because many of these males feel like they can't achieve or accomplish anything of substance. So a lot of these guys, because they feel like they cannot accomplish anything, want to destroy as many lives as possible so that they can go out in infamy. And what I believe Robert Card wanted to do, possibly, was go out here and destroy as many lives as he could at both of those locations, the bowling alley and the bar and grill. And the ultimate goal of many of these mass shooters I believe, is to go out here and try to go out in infamy by having the largest body count and surpass the body count of Stephen Paddock, the Las Vegas mass shooter. That is a goal that many mass shooters want to accomplish. They want to surpass Stephen Paddock's over 50 plus body count, and they want to go out in infamy by having the most deaths as related to these mass shootings. So what I believe happened here with Robert Card is, as a military trained individual, what he wanted to do was go out here and participate in this infamous act to get the most attention for himself. And as he participated in this act, what he wanted to do, as he wanted to go out in infamy, was create this air of mystery and drama, because again, with a lot of these beta males, it's all about the attention of infamy as related to these incidents. So after participating in this pair of mass shootings, what he did was go out here and drive his vehicle, his Subaru, to a boat landing. And again, when I look at the actions of Robert Card, they are not the actions of a person who is insane. No, they seem to be the actions of a person with sound mind who is clearly calculating in his actions by going to locations he knew people wouldn't be able to fight back. Moreover, he planned an escape from that area with that boat, and that really shows, again, actions that show a sound mind, not the kind of behavior I have seen as related to the pattern of shooters who will go out here and try to take their own lives because they don't want accountability for their actions and don't want to be punished for their actions. So a lot of times with these beta males, again, they will take their lives, and they take their lives because they don't want to be held accountable by the criminal justice system, and they don't want to get locked up in the criminal justice system and have to deal with the trial and also have to be in the jail and have to deal with individuals like Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, and Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, and don't want to deal with being traded and beaten down for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light, packets of Taster's Choice coffee, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand Duplex cookies, Fritos chips, peppermint balls. They don't want to deal with the consequences of their actions. What they want to do is escape those consequences. So oftentimes these shooters will take their own lives. However, in this case, what this guy basically wants to do is create an air of drama and mystery because he wants to be the most infamous shooter. And what he wants to do is go out here and have people speculating about where he is. So this is what he's doing as related to his actions. And he left a note in one of his homes because this man owned a lot of property. And what he wanted to do was say that he was going to, again, leave this note for his son, all part of the drama he was creating, because with a lot of these beta males, they love to create a lot of drama around themselves because these men, they want to, again, go out in infamy and be the center of attention with their whole carnage that they participate in. And this guy, basically, he was looking to participate in all of this carnage and was deliberately looking to take all of these people's lives. And again, I do not believe that he is mentally ill. I mean, yes, there are reports of him being mentally ill, but from my years of research on these shooters, a lot of times these individuals, they go out here and their behavior can mimic mental illness, and people will start speculating on mental health. But a lot of times, these guys are basically spoiled and coddled, and as they're spoiled and coddled, they go out here and participate in behavior that becomes erratic because they can't get their way. And when they can't get their way, and because of the dysfunctional way they've been raised, what they do is go out here and participate in violence like this. Now, this guy basically was out here as he was, after he lost his job, I believe what happened to him, and lost his girlfriend. He had already come out of a divorce and was on the internet, on social media, inside of echo chambers. And as he was in echo chambers, and again, his life wasn't going his way, I believe what happened is he got the call from the military, and that's what frustrated him, that his life wasn't going his way. And because his life wasn't going his way, what he wanted to do was destroy the world around him. And most people don't want to go out here and deal with the issues as related to beta males and the man crisis. So what they're doing now is going out here and spinning some stories saying that this guy was possibly mentally ill. And they want to go out here and say this because they don't want to take accountability for the way that we raise boys to become men, and they don't want to take a look at the man crisis as related to it being a main reason for why we're having all of these shootings. Because the reason why we're having this increase in frequency of this violence, I believe, is because of the dysfunctional way we have raised boys to become men for the last 50 to 60 years. And as we have gone out here and tried to raise a kinder, softer male, what has happened is this male, ironically, has become more violent and more erratic than the men who were raised by fathers and raised in homes and structures with fathers. Now, the other argument people want to make as related to this case is about gun control, and this is not a gun control issue because Robert Card bought most of his guns legally, and as he bought most of his guns legally, it again proves the point that this is not a gun issue. Now, there are some who would say that they need laws to take his guns away because of his mental health issues, but that wouldn't have changed things from my years of research. No, when it comes to these beta males, they will go out here, if they can't get guns, they will go out here like they do in the UK and participate in mass knifings, or they will go out here like I've seen with many other cases and use other items as weapons. These beta males will go out here and use anything as a weapon, whether it be a car in some incidents, a truck like I've seen in 2 or 3 incidents with individuals who are frustrated about the state of their lives, or they will even go to the extremes of taking an airplane and flying it into a person's home. That's just what I saw in one incident. And in a recent incident, an individual tried to bring an entire airplane of passengers down at Alaska Air. So when it comes to these beta males, they will participate in using anything as a weapon. So it's not a gun issue. It's an issue with the way these individuals are raised. And it's an issue with the way we have been raising boys to become men. The way we have been raising boys to become men are socially engineering these males to become ticking time bombs. And these ticking time bombs are out here in 2 to 3 generations of men, starting with the baby boomers and onward. And we have over 100 million individuals like this in America. And that's the main reason why we're seeing an increase in frequency of the violence these individuals participate in, because as we see an increase in frequency of this violence, it's because many of these men, they never had proper male life skills or male survival skills. Now, Robert Card is a guy who's military and is a survivalist on the surface, but these men do not have those skills as related to being able to conflict resolve, critically think, or navigate through their emotions. No, these men are taught how to feel and they react to situations, and because they learn how to react to situations, they don't learn how to respond in a way to solve problems or resolve conflict. No, they act on their feelings impulsively, not caring about the consequences of their actions. All they care about is sating their feelings, and that's what I believe Robert Card was looking to do in this situation. And what's really troubling about the case of Robert Card is how the mainstream media is basically looking to give him cover. The mainstream media is looking to give, I believe, Robert Card cover by spinning the story, making it look like he is some sort of victim, when in actuality he is a perpetrator, and that doesn't help really solve the man crisis. No, giving cover to a beta male only makes them twice as dangerous, because making excuses for these individuals by saying, oh, they're mentally ill, oh, this individual is somebody who is out here deeply troubled, or this individual is somebody who has some sort of personal problem, trying to minimize their behavior. What this does is, again, enable more beta males to believe that they can find a way to excuse their behavior. And the main reason why they're doing this in the mainstream media is because the white male is becoming the face of mass murder and mass shootings, and white males are the ones who are being known for this behavior in the majority, with another minority being non-black males. So what they've been trying to do is trying to find ways to avoid white males becoming the face of mass shooting. But what's happening is that as they're doing this, again, they're not helping these men who need to learn how the world works. And the big reason why they're going out here participating in this violence is because they don't know how the world works for men, or understand that the world works differently for men than it does women. That's the main reason why these men are participating in this violence, is they don't understand that the world works differently for men than women, and they're trying to make the world work from a woman's perspective the way it does for a man. And this causes the whole complete change of logic that leads to these males not being able to function at all and want to destroy the world around them. Now, these beta males, they're being enabled by mainstream media and white supremacy to, again, have their behavior excused. And what I've seen recently in the media is that they're trying to change the narratives to make black men the face of this kind of violence, trying to conflate shootouts with mass shootings. And this is all because the face of mass shooting is white male. And the behavior that these white males participate in is something that has been a problem for some time. But in America, we don't want to deal with the man crisis. And the main reason we don't want to deal with the man crisis is because so many women don't want to be held accountable for the dysfunctional way that boys have been acting as in our society. And the reason why they're acting erratically like this is due to the dysfunctional way they've been raised under 60 years of gynocentrism and feminism that teaches them that a boy is somebody who needs to be emotional and not know how to navigate through his emotions. So a lot of these boys, they were raised to be kinder, gentler, softer males, and have become more violent and predatory. And sadly, America just still refuses to acknowledge the man crisis in this country. And because it doesn't want to acknowledge the man crisis in this country, everything in this country is getting progressively worse. And it's getting worse, and we have everybody going out here making empty symbolic gestures like half-staff flags and talks about gun control. But the problems with a lot of these males has to do with the family. And until we acknowledge the problem with the family, we will never be able to deal with the man crisis in this country and deal with the fact that the way we raise boys to become men is making not only monsters, but making a whole nation that is in crisis, because we don't want to invest in men to keep them from becoming men in crisis. Now, if you want to pick up my book to learn more about the dysfunctional behavior of beta males and how these men turn from men into monsters, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about men in crisis and explain the man crisis in detail, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking on the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.